Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Wall Street Journal. Now, this was updated on December 20th, and oh, this is a wonderful thing because it goes to show the bias of the left. This isn't a German thing. This is a left thing. And you got to love how the Wall Street Journal, trying to cover for the fact that the left lies through their fucking teeth about Trump supporters, chose this for a headline. Germany's Der Spiegel says reporter made up facts. You can't make up facts. They chose that particular word because it doesn't undermine the authority of the legacy media. Didn't make up facts. He literally made up fake shit about Trump supporters. That's not factual. But you see, that's how the left here in the U.S. in the press, they look at Trump supporters. Okay, so to them it is factual. But to the rest of the world, to those who aren't Trump deranged dipshits, it's not factual. But this is written by Bojan Pensevsky and Sarah Germano. So look at the lead off subtitle impact sentence, however you want to look at it, after it is. The disclosure came after a colleague raised concerns about a recent piece on Trump supporters in rural America. No, he completely blew it out of the water and showed it was complete fucking bullshit. It wasn't raised concerns. He exposed the reporter for being a lying sack of shit. Let's be honest. Guy's a lying sack of shit. He's the typical legacy media, left to far left reporter. Talks out his ass, has no fucking clue about reality, only believes what is real is fallacy that no one in their right mind should believe is real. I mean, these days, that's how the left operates. They push all this shit that is contrary to what is real. And when the facts don't fit the story, they create them. So anyway, Berlin. Europe faces its largest journalistic scandal in years after Der Spiegel, the continent's biggest selling news magazine, said one of its star reporters fabricated facts in his articles for years. Now, this has been going on for years. Okay? And what's an even bigger kick in the ass is this guy has been doing it with their supposedly superior fact checkers, not catching shit, shit. They didn't catch a damn thing. They didn't catch any with this. So, what does that tell you about their fact checkers? That they're fucking clueless, that they're biased, that they're, full of shit too? Because, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. The magazine's disclosure, which came after a colleague raised concerns about a recent piece on supporters of President Trump in rural America, was made as Europe's established media faces attacks by populist forces at home and abroad. They're doing the same thing with the conservative populist types in Europe. They're lying, they're talking out their ass about them. They're trying to label them as Nazis and white supremacists and, racist bigots and all these things. Because their bias is causing them to do this. Because, well, it's more than their bias, but their bias is leading to it because they're like, well, that can't be true. I know this and that, And even if they know something is completely false, they don't want it to be true. They want to try to shape public opinion. That's what journalists have become. These people who believe that they're the ones that should be shaping opinion, that should be telling people what to think, what to feel. And when they can't find the stuff to back up what they're trying to push, they talk out their ass, they lie, they fabricate, they create fallacy. And the thing is, no one's called him out on it until now, really. Claas Relotius, an award-winning journalist, resigned from the magazine last week after admitting to making up parts of his reporting in the past decade, Der Spiegel said late Wednesday. Yeah, right. I'm guessing the overwhelming majority of his reporting was pull it out of his ass, made up fallacy. I'm really guessing it's got a lot of that going on. Mr. Relotius couldn't be reached for comment. Well, if you pulled that shit, would you want to talk to anyone at this point? No, you just want to bury your head in the sand and hope it goes away. According to the magazine, Mr. Relotius, 33, invented characters, dialogue, and events in his coverage of subjects ranging from a Guantanamo Bay inmate who no longer wanted to leave the prison to Civil War orphans in Syria. Yeah, basically every fucking thing that the left takes issue with. He could not find anything to back his bullshit, so he had to fabricate it. See? We must see what control mechanisms failed, whether they did or whether we were negligent. Stefan Klausman, who will become the magazine's editor-in-chief next year, said in a video interview posted on the magazine's website. Oh, no, you guys fucking failed. Your fact checkers, your magazine, you failed. It wasn't the mechanism. It was you shitbags who fucked up because your bias wouldn't allow for you to honestly check facts. Which, on that type of idea, okay, PolitiFact, filled with left to far left. I mean, we're talking, leftists and shit. Okay, Snopes, fucking a left shitbag who's dishonest, who embezzled money from the fucking company for prosties, okay, and then had Snopes lie about his little prosty thing. Yeah, real fucking trustworthy, okay? He embezzled money, was cheating on his wife, who founded Snopes with him. They don't even have a research background, mind you. But cheated on the wife with hookers. Gets this second-rate wannabe porn actress reject as one of his fucking, prosties to show up. Falls in love with her. Leaves the wife. Comes out. Snopes is like, oh, that's a lie. Nothing to see here. Oh, no, that's not what happened. And they won't even talk about it. Like, they tried to cover it up. And then, oh, we can't talk about it. What do you mean you can't talk about it? It's fucking embezzlement. He embezzled money. He tried to have the company lie about what was going on. You should be fucking talking about it. And yeah, we're supposed to trust them as fact checkers. I mean, PolitiFact, all right, Washington Post. They've been called on this, okay? Steven Crowder, and I wish I could remember the guy's name that he had on, went through their supposed lies of Trump. And guess what? They were lying about them. They were the ones lying. So, I mean, and we're supposed to trust them. It's like, oh, well, the fact checkers need to be trusted. No, you're all biased pieces of shit. You don't have people from both sides, both ends of the political spectrum and anywhere in between acting as fact checkers to try to counter bias. You won't do that. Yeah, we're supposed to believe you Trump deranged fuckwits who go, not my president, when you're talking about the shit that he said. You've got skin in the game. You want him discredited because you don't want him in office. And we're supposed to trust fact checkers in the press, all the legacy media. And you got this guy trying to pass it off as their system failed. How hard is it to actually do fact checking? Major news organizations have faced a number of crises in recent decades over reporting that was later determined to contain fabricated material. Oh, you fucking think? I'm surprised the Wall Street Journal actually admits that. They've been caught quite a few times. In 7 years writing for Der Spiegel, Mr. Relotius became one of Germany's most highly regarded journalists, accumulating 10 coveted awards. Yes, because he was writing shit that rang with the beliefs of the other leftists and far left and you know, the people, you know, that are, you know, when they lean left, they lean kind of towards, you know, the idea of Marx and shit. They might not be socialists, but they're moving closer to that idea. I mean, on the note of like the scale of left, they're moving, you know, they might not be that, be a socialist, but they're leaning over towards there because they can't handle anything, you know, right of them to them, you know, right of them is the right. It's not, which includes the center these days. But in a separate video interview on the magazine's website, a colleague said he raised an alarm in November about some facts in an article he and Mr. Relotius co-authored about a pro-Trump militia, which the article described as hunting down immigrants along Arizona's border with Mexico. Yeah, which was complete bullshit. The legacy media actually tried to use that here, and people were like, what the fuck? Like the bullshit that he wrote, if I remember correctly, it was basically to try to paint the picture that they're trying to paint of Trump supporters. Racists and all that other type of shit. On Wednesday, the magazine launched what it called the Transparency Campaign, pledging to investigate Mr. Relotius' entire body of work and publicize the results. It said it had so far found made-up facts in 14 out of nearly 60 articles. Okay, how many? That's 14 out of 60 articles. Out of those 14 articles, how much of it was made up bullshit? That's what I want to know. Because I got a feeling the overwhelming majority of those 14, like the percentage-wise of each article, yeah, complete bullshit. Stefan Niggemeier, an independent media blogger in Berlin and a former Spiegel journalist, said some of the articles at issue appeared to confirm certain German stereotypes about Trump voters, asking, was this possible because of an ideological bias? Oh, you think? Of course it is because of an ideological bias. See, they can't report on Trump supporters accurately and factually. All right? They can't report on the people in Germany that are sick of the fucking, you know, getting told to bend over and take it up the ass. You know, we're going to have these truck drivers of peace types coming in, and you're going to fucking support them, all right? And you're going to go and bust your ass so that they can collect free shit and live off of you, okay? If you reported on them accurately, you reported on Trump supporters accurately, if you reported on conservatives accurately, people that you're trying to con would see them for who they actually are, as opposed to how you want them to be seen, you know, according to your bias against them. And you would probably lose people because they'd be like, well, they're not actually that bad, and they're actually pretty reasonable. And you can't have that. A spokesman for Der Spiegel said that the magazine is investigating what, if any, role potential bias may have played. What, if any? You mean the overwhelming likelihood that it did? That you're going to probably play down and try to say, oh, no, it wasn't potential bias. There was no bias at all. Oh, no, because we can't admit that it was biased, because then, you know, we got to admit that we're like, you know, deranged and we're losing grip with reality, and we need, you know, to lie in order to keep people, like, buying into our bullshit, because if we told them the truth, they would probably turn against us. And I think they're afraid of that fact. Founded in 1947, Der Spiegel built its reputation on its investigative work, and especially in its early years, its critical coverage of government. In Germany, where news and opinion writing often merge, it is known for its center-left leanings. Yeah, see, in Germany for a while, that line has been crossed between reporting and opinion. And, Basically, when you have that going on, it's not being a journalist. You're not being a reporter. You're not being a journalist. You're being a propagandist. If you are forcing your opinion as fact, okay, because you're not, you're trying to sway people with your opinion, and you're being dishonest about it because you're misrepresenting it as facts. I mean, that's the problem with CNN these days. That's the problem with MSNBC these days. That's the problem with the big three networks here in the United States. And they think people are too stupid to realize what they're doing. But they're not. The affair cast doubt on the effectiveness of Der Spiegel's renowned fact-checking department. Oh, you think? Once described as the largest in the world by Columbia Journalism Review, the magazine, which said it employs around 70 fact-checkers, said its system had failed. No, your system didn't fail. Your fact-checkers failed. Let's be fucking honest, okay? Your system worked for how many fucking years? Since 1947, until the cultural Marxist leftist types got in there, okay? Once they did, they could not distinguish between their feels and reals, reality and fantasy, fake and not fake. They couldn't distinguish because they want their feelings to be true. Damn the facts. Okay? They failed, not your system. But see, you can't admit that you have biased fucking idiots deciding what's factual and what isn't. Because if you did, then you're going to lose a lot of ground with your subscriber base, your readership. They're going to be like, what the fuck? And they're not going to want to read your propagandistic, biased bullshit. We have always found that excellent journalism requires a certain amount of freedom. We don't want to control our colleagues every step of the way, the magazine said this week. We want them to be able to let themselves drift, which is the only way to create creativity. But it must not become too creative either. Let me translate that, because it's kind of a shady, shifty fucking thing going on here. So what they're trying to claim is that excellent journalism requires a certain amount of freedom. Okay. On the face of it, yes, I agree. Because you need reporters to be able to go out, do their jobs, and not be under constant supervision. All right. But beyond that, that's all the freedom they should have. They should not be able to embellish or anything like that. But you're saying that they should be able to. And well, we don't want to control our colleagues every step of the way. Okay. Maybe you should. If they're going to lie to you and hell, you guys let it through because of your bias. And I love this one. We want to be able to let themselves drift, which is the only way to create creativity. So basically, they want them to be able to go off into La La Land and write from La La Land as opposed to reality, because that's the only way to create creativity. Yeah, okay. But but it must not become too creative either, because if it becomes too creative, then they get caught in their fucking lies. That's what they don't want. That's why you have that being said there. Okay? But they must not become too creative, because they don't want to get caught. They want to be creative enough that they can lie and slant things and try to sway people to go in a certain direction. But not so much so that they are able to easily see that it's a fucking lie and go, whoa, 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 wait a minute. See, it's like the idea of someone who, all right, a natural liar they're only going to provide as much information as necessary to sell the lie. They know that if you embellish too much, provide too much information, or do anything like that, you completely undermine the lie. That's what that's getting at there. It really is. In a post on Medium on Wednesday, 2 residents of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, described what they said were numerous inaccuracies in an article by Mr. Relotius that Der Spiegel published last year, and that focused on Fergus Falls, Minnesota. The article was titled "In a Small Town." Yeah, and what sucks is these people are made to, are painted in a way other than how they are. And they have to resort to going to Medium to set the record straight. No one's giving them a voice, because they're hoping that this shit will just blow over. Michelle Anderson, program director for a local nonprofit, and Jake Crone, a technology consultant, wrote in the post, what kind of institutional breakdown led to the supposedly world-class Der Spiegel fact-checking team completely dropping the ball on this one? No institutional breakdown. Sorry to break it to you. It's called bias. It's called their fucking bias that screwed you. All right. They didn't want Trump to win. They wanted Hillary fucking Clinton. They got no stake in it, and they wanted Hillary to win. So they're going to be Trump deranged fucking idiots, because for whatever reason, a globalist shit pig like Hillary was seen as an intellectual superior and world leader. A bitch who's taking graft from every motherfucker she can, who's taken graft from the Russians, who's taken graft from the Chinese, okay, who's taken graft from people, businessmen and other influential people throughout the world, okay, known as charitable donations to the Clinton Foundation, okay. They thought she would be better. A corrupt, syphilitic, pus-infected twat. I would have used the C word there, but that's that's one word that I won't say, if you've noticed. All right. She's a syphilitic infested twat. And for some reason, twat sounds worse, but it's the way I was raised is an okay word to say. But yeah, she's a syphilitic infested twat. And they thought she'd be a better president. And they don't like the fact that they can't dictate who's going to be president. So they want the people who voted for Trump, they want to make look like shit. In response to questions from the Wall Street Journal, Ms. Anderson wrote in an email that none of the people she spoke with in Fergus Falls, referenced in the Der Spiegel article, were approached for fact-checking by the magazine. Well, of course not. Their bias confirmed how those people were in their mind. They didn't need to check the facts because they just believed that's how these people really were. It's called fucking bias. System didn't fail. They should all be fired, though, because they didn't follow the system. They let their bias dictate. Okay, it's like the idea of a guy being led around, by his dick, thinking with his dick. Okay, except they were thinking with their bias. In an article Wednesday, Der Spiegel wrote that Mr. Relotius distorts reality in the article about Fergus Falls. Oh, you fucking think? Why don't you just say he lied? See, they don't even want to admit that he lied. Oh, he was colorful. He was being creative. Oh, they're using all these buzzwords to hide the fact that the guy fucking lied. He distorts reality. No, he lied. It's so fucked up that they think that they can get away with, we'll choose distorts reality, and people will just go, okay. It's fucking funny. A spokesman for the magazine said that Der Spiegel's fact-checking process does not include contacting any subjective articles, adding that the department reviews each story sentence by sentence for accuracy and plausibility, followed by a review between the department and the story's author. Oh, now that's complete bullshit, because every fact-checking department in the legacy media, they call and confirm. Unless they're doing a fucking hit piece, you know, if they're like the Wall Street Journal going after Ethan Ralph. That's a different story. You know. If it's Sargon of Akkad, in his case, they don't want to do it because they don't want to hear him lie through his fucking ass. Okay? Because that whole white end thing, oh, I was using the word against him. I was spinning it against him. No, that's what he's trying to portray now. Okay? What he did is he was being disrespectful to the people that were watching the stream. He was being disrespectful to the people on the stream. Okay? So the people that were watching the stream in the chat started making fun of him. They were ragging on him for being a disrespectful, you know, look down his nose, snotty, piece of shit git. They were riding his ass on it because they're like, well, fuck you, dude. You're going to treat us like shit. You're going to talk down to us. You're going to basically tell us. Because he was telling them. Because he's spouting these stupid fucking ideas. These stupid things. Just dumb shit's coming out of his mouth. Okay? And people are like trying to explain to him, hey, Sargon, it's dumb shit. And he's going, no, you just don't understand it. No, they fucking understood it. They just didn't agree with you, you dumb fuck, and you're too stupid to realize it. Now, see, with him trying to spin this the way it is, I actually have no problems with the fact checkers ignoring him. Actually, no, I do have a problem with that, but my point being is, all right, they don't want to fact check with him because they're going to listen to some stupid fucking bullshit, and they're going to assume the same thing because they've got their bias. Now, in Sargon's case, their bias might be right because he's going to lie. He's been lying about what happened. Oh, I used the N-word. I called him white ends to spin it against him. You know, to try to upset him. They were laughing at him calling him white ends. They're like, yeah, okay, dude, we're white ends. Uh-huh. So, I mean, you know, because they don't want to, you know, have contrary facts or deal with lies and bullshit. They're not going to talk to people because they already have their minds made up. That's my point with that. I mean, in Sargon's case, they would have been listening to him talk out his ass and lie like, you know, like a fucking bad rug. But yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel bad for what happened to people, but I have no sympathy for him. You know, the other people that got removed, I feel for them, but him. He brings his shit on himself. If he didn't spurg out like a fucking moron and go, oh, you're a bunch of white ends. You should respect me. You have to respect me. All right. What's funny is he's saying they have to respect him because he's white. But yet he tells the social justice warriors he's a quarter black. Which is it, Sargon? Are you fucking white and they have to respect you, the supposed alt-right? Or are you a quarter black? So that's another thing that they leave out with this, is that, you know, this is that whole idea of fact-checking. If they actually fact-checked him, oh, they could fucking sink him in 2 fucking seconds. Trump supporters, they don't want to fact-check them because, which, on the note of Sargon, before we go any further, that's kind of just laziness. They could fact-check him and fuck him so hard, it's not even funny. In this case, if they fact-checked, they'd be the ones that got fucked so hard because they would be like, holy shit, we can't write this story. We can't publish this story. So when it comes to choosing not to fact check, they do it for either for the fact of they don't want their bias, their bias not confirmed, or they don't want to deal with lying sacks of shit like Sargon, who make a fucking fool of themselves and then go, oh, I was using the white end thing to turn the word against them. And you know what gets me is you get people like fucking Tim Pool. Speaking of fact checking. Okay. You got Tim fucking Pool, who hasn't checked a goddamn fucking fact in regards to Sargon, talking out his fucking ass. Okay? Like, obsessed with the whole Sargon fucking thing. I've seen so many fucking videos where he's going Sargon, 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 Sargon. Okay? With this whole fucking thing. And he completely talks out of his ass. All he had to do was watch the fucking stream. I've watched that whole stream where he went and spurged out and started going, oh, you're a bunch of white ends. Yeah. Okay, I watched that fucking stream. Nowhere in it did Sargon do what Tim is claiming and all these other people are claiming about, oh, he owned the word to use it against the alt-right. No, that's not what happened. I mean, you've got this total lack of fact-checking in general these days. Whether it's the alternative media like with Tim Pool or fucking Der Spiegel or Sticks Hexenhammer 666, he talks out of his fucking ass more often than not these days because he's like Sargon. He's gotten high off his own fucking farts because he's like, ooh, I've got over 33,000 subscribers on BitChute right now. It's like, Sticks, who gives a shit? I mean, I look at it this way. I'm out here to just fucking make content. If I gain subscribers, I gain subscribers. So I'm not going to get high on my own shit, doing that. These people, they've gotten high off their own shit. I mean, you get fucking Sticks trying to act like the U.S. supposedly exploited the fucking world post-World War II when the United States allowed the rest of the world to exploit it post-World War II in fighting fucking communism, which is why, see, he's too fucking stupid to understand this one, which is why we have all these biased fucking trade deals and tariffs against us and no tariffs on these other goods or very low ones coming in, from these other countries. Shit like that. And he's like, oh yeah, the U.S. The other day, it was like, what was it, a week ago or some shit? In a video, he's talking about how the U.S. created that by exploiting all these nations post-World War II. It's like, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. None of these assholes these days know what the fuck they're talking about. All right, I'll admit, I don't know everything, but when I open my mouth, I at least have half a fucking clue. And I'm providing opinion here. And I look at Sticks, like he's supposed to be some fucking expert. I look at fucking Tim Pool trying to be the fucking reporter. And I look at this dipshit at Der Spiegel and all the fact checkers there. And I look at the fucking Washington shitpost with their Pinocchio bullshit and being proven they're full of shit. All right? There is no fact checking in the media anymore. I try to at least fact check. Okay, I don't take an article and just talk out my ass. I do a little peripheral research with it at least before I open my mouth. If I'm talking about something I want to talk about and I don't have a clue. And that's what needs to be going on in the press again. I don't care if it's the alternative press. I don't care if it's the legacy media. Okay, you need actual fact checking. Okay, and facts, they're definitive. They're either true or they're false. It should be pretty fucking simple. It really should be pretty fucking simple at this point. But yet it isn't. I mean, how? And then to finish it off at the end here. Senior Spiegel reporters told the Wall Street Journal that their own experience was one of strict fact-checking. Well, of course they're going to say that. Why? Because they don't want to be dragged down into this fucking shit. They don't want to be dragged into this. But I'm sure they've done the same thing. I'm pretty fucking positive they've done the same thing. I mean, how? Like this idea of fact checking, and I keep trying to tell Sticks this one. All right, I've left comments on his YouTube videos. I left comments on his BitChute videos. Okay, I've on social media have said this. Okay, like a good example with him. Okay, he keeps talking about McCarthy and what happened. and has no actual clue. Because he's talking about Hollywood. And McCarthy never investigated Hollywood for communists. He investigated his Senate hearing, because it was the House that investigated Hollywood, but in the Senate hearing, they investigated the government and they investigated academia. And guess what? They found a shit ton of fucking commies. Okay? Hollywood, they also found a bunch of fucking commies there too. But McCarthy had nothing to do with that. And he keeps talking about McCarthy in Hollywood. And I'm like, Sticks, seriously, dude? Go look up what McCarthy did. That was a House hearing, okay, that looked into Hollywood. McCarthy was the Senate, and I keep reiterating this shit. You'd think you would actually, like, read his fucking comments and get a clue. No, he just keeps spouting the same lies and bullshit that he thinks is fucking factual. And this is rampant throughout people who try to report on shit. And I mean, I'm not trying to pick on the alternative press, you know, with the idea of Tim Pool and Sticks. Okay, the alternative media, I'll say, because Tim Pool is, a journalist. Sticks is more of someone who provides commentary and throws some facts in. Okay, so he's throwing opinion in, but he's throwing facts in. At least you should know the facts. But the reason why I'm picking on them with this situation, even though we're talking about Der Spiegel in the article, is because we, as members of the alternative media, we need to be better than the legacy media. We need to have our ducks in a row. We need to know what the fuck we are talking about. We need to be the ones above reproach so that they can't just brush us off. So that they can't just claim, we're talking out of our asses. So that they can't just claim that we're lying. So that they can't use the things that they're actually doing against us. We need to put extra effort in and not get high off of our farts. Like, the soy father, Dawn of the Dawn of La Soya Nostra. Or Sticks. Or Tim even. I mean, Tim is kind of getting high on his own shit. And what gets me is Tim, I'm a libertarian. Dude, libertarians don't believe in social safety nets. They don't believe in those type of programs. But I'm a left libertarian. No, it wouldn't matter. If you're a fucking libertarian, you don't believe in those things. Sorry, Tim. Hate to break it to you, but you're not one. I mean, he can't even be honest with what the fuck he is ideologically. And we need to be better than this shit. We need to be above reproach. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.